Donald Trump needs a psychiatrist, and we got one. Okay, Trump is now saying, hey, all of those things I said, I was just lying. It's all bravado. And DOJ likely to indict Donald Trump. Well, again, let me first go to Trump's, well, let's just say delusion. Here it is.
You're not concerned then with your own voice on those recordings?
My voice was fine. What did I say wrong on those recordings? I didn't even see the recording. All I know is I did nothing wrong. We had a lot of papers stacked up. In fact, you could hear the rustle of the paper, and nobody said I did anything wrong other than the fake news, which of course is Fox too.
Are there any other recordings that we should be concerned of?
I don't know of any recordings that you should be concerned with, because I don't do things wrong. I do things right. I'm a legitimate person.
He's a legitimate person. He doesn't do things wrong. He does things right. He has not seen the recordings. All right, here's the information that leads us to believe that Donald Trump may be indicted again by the DOJ. Here it is.
And to stay with you for a second, Neal, you also got Donald Trump's Secret Service agents, at least half a dozen of them, now also being interviewed. You seem to have movement on fake electors, that there's been a lot of movement there in terms of what looks like Jack Smith potentially building a case there as well that kind of mirrors what's happening in Georgia. How would all of these cases essentially be tried or proffered at once? Because it feels like there are, just Jack Smith alone could do 3 or 4 cases himself.
Yeah, I know exactly, Joy. I mean, if this were a TV show, we're like only in season 2 of what's likely to be a 5 or 6 season special at this point. Jack Smith is certainly moving, it looks to me, to indict Trump for January 6th. The Secret Service, bringing them in to testify before the grand jury is an extraordinary step. The Secret Service agents were literally in the room or the car where all this stuff happened on January 6th and in the days before January 6th, and there is no privilege for Secret Service agents. Bill Clinton tried to assert a privilege back in 1999, and the US Supreme Court rejected it. So I think these cases will be staggered. You don't get like an extra benefit because you're a serial criminal and get to delay them all. You gotta, so they will all go to trial and they will be staggered in some way, shape, or form.
I concur. I think Fulton County, Georgia will be the next one to indict very soon. I believe that indictment will absolutely have friends, so-called friends of Donald Trump testifying against him. I think the DOJ has a significant number of individuals who are part of his camp who testified against him during the grand jury. And I think more is to come. All right, let's put up a picture full mask. I think Joy Reid has been so remarkable at her coverage. Big shout out to her. Let's get into it. Trump was indicted earlier this month on 37, count them, 37 federal counts stemming from his retention of government material upon leaving office. This was really about mishandling it. Smith alleges that Trump willfully kept classified documents and obstructed efforts to recover them. The ex-president has pleaded not guilty. Separately, Jack Smith is probing Trump's actions on and around the terrorist attack on January 6th, 2021, where a violent mob of his supporters stormed the Capitol in a vain attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. It was the combination of Trump's lies about the contest being stolen from him and many of his supporters believing them. Let me say this clearly. If Donald Trump would have the last name Muhammad, we would say Trump radicalized individuals to commit acts of terrorism. That would be the narrative. But because he does not have the last name Muhammad, because he is in fact a rich, politically powerful white male, those narratives will not stick to him, even though the action and behavior is the same. Let us not forget, it was Donald Trump who not only lied leading up to that point, he directly animated those individuals in front of him to engage in acts of violence. He told them he would be with them. Now, maybe Secret Service can establish something that has been rumored. Donald Trump wanted to go to the Capitol. Donald Trump wanted to literally lead the insurrection. And it was Secret Service who stopped it, who decided to do the unthinkable, to override a direct command from the President of the United States. That may be on the agenda very soon for discussion. There's more. Former President Donald Trump said he was lying. He said he was lying when he said on the recording, quote, "This is secret information," end quote. As the sound of papers being handled is heard, according to ABC News. Quote, "These are the papers. This was done by the military and given to me," Trump said to a writer, supposedly referring to a potential battle plan for Iran. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is still a secret, end quote. There's more. On Monday, Trump claimed the audio was actually an exoneration. This is now another defense. On Monday, he said it is an exoneration and did not deny that the content of the document or documents are related to the military and Iran. But then on Tuesday, he tried a new strategy, a new defense by claiming that he was actually just lying on the recording. Quote, "I would say it was bravado. If you want to know the truth, it was bravado," he says. Trump told ABC News on board his plane on Tuesday, "I was just talking and just holding up papers and talking about them, but I had no documents. I didn't have any documents." Trump stated he was simply holding up random papers. "I just held up a whole pile of, my desk is loaded up with papers. I have papers from 25 different things," he said. A reporter posed the former president a question if he regretted how he handled classified documents upon leaving the White House. He says, "No, I have no regrets. I didn't have a classified document. There was no classified document on my desk," end quote. You have to look at that last sentence when the reporter says, "Do you have any regrets about how you handled classified information?" "No, no regrets, because I did not have any on my desk at all." Trump has literally self-certified that it was him on the audio, which, by the way, prosecution would have had to go through legal evidentiary rules in order to introduce it as authentic, non-edited, etc. But Donald Trump has self-certified that it was him. In addition to that, Donald Trump has also shown clearly that he understands what he did was wrong, illegal. How? How has he established his understanding of this? Clearly, one, by changing the defense and saying there was no classified document at all. And then by saying in the recording, it is in fact a classified document that he could have declassified while president, but no longer had the power to do so. Both of those scenarios indicates one thing, a victory for the prosecution. That's what it does. I don't see how he wiggles out of this. I don't think his attorneys do either. But they will make him think there's still hope because of two words, billable hours. All right, my dear brother, the psychology and psychosis runs deep with this one. What is your assessment here?
I kind of divide it into two avenues that are really overlap. The first, of course, is the psychology. I mean, hearing Trump talk now, and who knows where they're catching him for these segments, but he looks a lot less, there's a lot less bravado going on than we've seen from Trump in the past. He looks tired and he looks, I don't know, maybe it's the middle of the night and he's done 90 interviews already, but he looks afraid. And the way he's talking right now, he's kind of saying the right words, but this repeated insistence, I've done nothing wrong, I'm a good person. It feels very afraid to me in a way. And so I think there is, at least from these quotes, and again, who knows what context they're in, and I've obviously never spoken to the president, so I don't have I've never interviewed him or anything. But I would just say that this repeated insistence of like, I'm a good person, it feels like what you would do like in 8th grade, like, I know you are, but what am I? Or you're the paper, or I'm the glue, or all these kind of things you would say as a kid that would kind of deflect, but it just doesn't land right now in a way. And so it'll be interesting to see how that is. And then of course the legal part is that his strategy, if you're a lawyer, is like the dude's out there admitting to the crimes that he's being prosecuted for. So it seems to me like there's only 2 ways he wiggles out of it, just following on what you're saying. One is that he wins the presidency and then he pardons himself. And the other is that he makes a deal with someone who's going to win the presidency, who's then going to pardon him. And so it'll be important to pay attention to people like DeSantis, who are already saying, I'll pardon Trump on the first day. And so this hasn't totally played out. And I think there are a lot of ways that it can go, but this isn't the same Trump who was like, I break all the rules and nothing ever happens to me before. It looks a little different to me.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, Doctor, that his bravado has decreased and he's no longer talking in ways that would indicate he's above the law.